Drop the gun! Drop the gun!
A deadly afternoon in Bastrop caught on camera. Back in March, police shot and killed Thomas Johnson III.
Now, this after they responded to a call. Johnson had threatened somebody with a gun at a nearby apartment complex. Investigative reporter Nick Pict is here. Now has this exclusive video of the dash cam from that day. Nick, what more do you know?
Jeff, this incident started a little after 3 o'clock in the afternoon when police took 2 911 calls from the Eden Apartments. The callers told police that Johnson pulled a gun on a man at the complex and drove off with somebody else in an SUV. From there, the search was on for the vehicle, and when officers found it, the situation quickly turned deadly.
Hey, close your door! Drop the gun! Drop the gun!
9 seconds, the difference between life and death. These 9 seconds are the start of an almost 5-minute scenario that left Thomas Johnson III dead. But in order to understand them, let's back up to 8 minutes before officers pulled the trigger.
911, what's the location of the emergency?
They drawing guns over there in the apartment.
Okay. I'm seeing somebody.
2 911 calls.
911, what's the location of the emergency?
Hey, can you please come to the Eden Apartments? It's a red truck with some rims on it. Just pulled a gun out on the boy.
The suspect?
Who pulled the gun?
Thomas Johnson.
From there, the search was on.
The advice unit said I received 2 911 calls from Eden Apartments. There's going to be a red truck with rims on it, driven by Thomas Johnson. He just pulled a gun out on someone.
Bastrop Police Officer Josh Green is the first to find the SUV with Johnson inside.
Stop your vehicle.
He pulls the car over on Kamel Street near the closed H.V. Adams Elementary.
Headquarters, I'm on Kamel Street with the burgundy color SUV.
After about a minute of commands,
Turn off your car!
Johnson jumps out of the passenger seat. In his hand,
Hey, close your
this,
door.
a .40 caliber Smith & Wesson with a .30 capacity magazine.
Drop the gun! Drop the gun!
The two take off towards the school. And Green radios to the other officers.
Shots fired! Shots fired! Shots fired on Camille. I have him in sight.
Backup now on the way, while the SUV in question drives off.
He's wearing a red sweater. Great pants. I'm in the suit. Where you at, Six? Be careful.
Through the school's parking lot and headed back toward the Eden Apartments.
In the Eden. He's going up in the Eden.
We picked Johnson back up at 3:20 p.m., about 3 minutes after the first shot is fired. This time it's on Officer John McKinney's dash camera. He's responding to that call of shots fired, while people call police about the gunfire.
I need to report a shooting.
Where are you, ma'am?
I'm over here on Garden Drive.
We got somebody in route.
McKinney engages, firing one shot from his car. Johnson falls, gets back up, and keeps running. Then McKinney fires 3 more rounds.
Subject in custody. Headquarters send an ambulance this way.
Soon after, Johnson collapses in the field.
10-4.
People who live nearby rush to get a closer look, while sheriff's deputies arrive on the scene.
I got the sheriff's department. They are en route right now.
Johnson's taken away by the ambulance, and state police start its investigation. The coroner's investigation shows Johnson was hit 3 times, twice in the arm, once in the back. The toxicology report says THC and methamphetamine were in Johnson's system at the time of the shooting. State police report shows that Green fired 25 rounds, McKinney 4. Johnson never fired his gun. 2 weeks ago, a grand jury cleared the 2 officers of any wrongdoing. Jeff, Jennifer?
Thank you, Nick. Well, going in depth tonight, we showed this video to a use of force expert. Lloyd Grafton has more than 50 years of experience in law enforcement as an officer, teacher, and doctor of criminal justice. Now, he serves as an expert in use of force in both federal and Louisiana state court. Now, he says there are still some unanswered questions, but says he ultimately understands why a grand jury could have cleared the officers.
Certainly a tragedy. A young man lost his life. He used very poor judgment in not following the directions of the law enforcement officers. Having said that, I can look at it and understand how a grand jury might not return an indictment Just what I reviewed, there are questions that can be asked as to exactly why the first officer shot at a fleeing individual even though he had a gun in his hand. It all would come down to what the officer knew at that particular time, and he could well have been justified by information that he had that I don't have when I review the video.
Now, Bastrop Mayor Henry Cotton told Nick that he is reviewing the case file and has not made a decision as to any disciplinary action. As of now, both officers remain on paid leave, and if you'd like to see more, we have the full interview with Grafton on our website, knoe.com.
Meantime, a local teen is now answering the call to help a disabled girl whose wheelchair was stolen from her front yard.
Now, the theft caught the attention of Downsville native Serenity Soto. She's now using her own nonprofit to help this young girl in need. Perry Robinson spoke to the family. He joins us live in studio. Perry, what more do you know?
Well, Jeff, 13-year-old Serenity Soto started her nonprofit 4 years ago to help people like Jessie Dawn. She's now using her resources to help this young girl in any way possible. 9-year-old Jessie Dawn was born autistic, has epilepsy, and numerous other health problems. Her disabilities have confined her to a wheelchair, forcing the young girl to use a tablet to communicate.
This special one for this little girl really hit home for Serenity.
On Sunday night, Jessie's wheelchair was stolen from the front yard of her Texas home. She's now unable to freely move or do things without the help of someone else.
Can you show Mama how you feel through your, can you show me your words and how you feel about your wheelchair being stolen?
When Dawn's aunt, Serenity Soto, heard what happened, she was devastated.
I mean, of course, I was sad and a little bit angry at the moment because it's kind of hard to believe that somebody could do that to somebody else.
Soto and her nonprofit, Serenity's Gift Bag Ministry and Friends, decided to join the effort and help replace what was stolen from Jessie. The group started to collect donations to help replace the stolen wheelchair.
It really bothered me, and she's already limited to only so much with her wheelchair, so without it she's not able to do much, and that's just something we wanted to do and take notice on.
The group is a long ways away from reaching their goal, but that's not stopping this young girl.
It doesn't take a special person to do good, and it doesn't take a special person to do things they want to. And if you're really up for it, then it's definitely something you need to do.
Well, for more information on how you can help Jessie Dawn, you can check out this story on knoe.com. Jeff, Jennifer.
Perry, thank you. Meantime, an arrest is made following a shooting on 165 in South Monroe today. 20-year-old Nijayon Strouder is charged with attempted second-degree murder. Police found an SUV in the median and someone with a gunshot wound to the leg inside. The victim was taken to the hospital. They say he should be okay, and that shooting is still under investigation.
Well, the Ouachita Sheriff's Office needs your help identifying 2 women that are accused of shoplifting. Deputies say twice last month they entered Max Fresh Market on Lincoln Road in Monroe and stole meat and seafood. The deputies say they left in a white Ford Fusion. If you have any information on their whereabouts, call the Sheriff's Office.
Well, a keeper at the Louisiana Purchase Gardens and Zoo was attacked by a warthog today. The director says she was tending to 2 warthogs when she came into contact with one of them. He says she managed to get out of the exhibit and alert others after it happened. He says her leg was injured, but she managed to get out and call for help.
We've never had an incident like this with our warthogs. We consider every animal at the zoo a wild animal, and we treat them as such with the respect that a wild animal deserves. Those warthogs have never shown any propensity to attack before. Mostly what warthogs do, if they're threatened, they'll back themselves into a hole, and they use their tusks to protect the hole.
Now, we're told the keeper is in good condition and the warthogs are still contained in their exhibit.
Well, today marks the 3rd anniversary of Sterlington police officer David Elahi's tragic passing. Good evening to you. I'm Jeff Horchak.
And I'm Jennifer Andrews. He was hit and killed by a car during a traffic stop. Tyler Wan joins us now. And Tyler, how are people remembering him?
Today marks the 3rd anniversary of Sterlington police officer David Elahi's tragic passing in the hands of a drunk driver. The city is using the occasion to honor him by naming a highway after him. That's Highway 165. They're putting flowers out there and going to visit the memorial that they have along the highway. David Elahi was loved by many among his community. Today, on the 3rd anniversary of his passing, family members paid respect at this memorial site. The community has also come together to honor his memory.
Today, the mayor did a proclamation to make today, from now on, July 3rd, as David Elahi Day.
But that's not the only way the city plans to honor him. The Sterlington Police Department asked for donations on Facebook to pay for a sign naming a stretch of Highway 165 as Sergeant David Elahi Memorial Highway. It took them less than 2 hours to get what they needed.
Here the signs have been ordered, and now we're just waiting for them to be made, and we'll announce to everybody when we're going to have them out there to put up, and we'll make a big to-do with that.
However, police warned some people may be looking to take advantage of tragedy.
I can tell you that we have not asked anybody to do anything else to raise money for this. So if anyone's doing this, they're doing it on their own, and the money won't come to us for the signs.
Because the signs are already on their way, as David Elahi's memory lives on.
David was an awesome guy. Everybody that knew him definitely know what I'm talking about, and he's greatly missed. And
Tracy Govan was the driver of the car that hit Elahi. Last year, he was convicted of vehicular homicide and negligent homicide. Govan was sentenced to 15 years of hard labor. Jennifer, Jeff?
Tyler, thank you. In Crime Watch tonight, a Franklin Parish man accused of setting his family home on fire gets arrested after calling the sheriff's office for a ride to his girlfriend's house. Authorities say Nicholas Wilson admitted to killing a dog in the home in the 600 block of Clyde Weems Loop Road. He says he set the fire to cover it up, but he burned himself too, but they couldn't find him once he got out of the hospital. Now that was back in 2017. Well, he has finally been arrested. That happened on June 30th after calling the sheriff's office for a ride to his girlfriend's house. He's now charged with simple arson and aggravated cruelty to animals. Meantime, 2 women have been arrested in connection with a fire at one of their homes late last year in Concordia Parish. 32-year-old Amber DeLawn and 51-year-old Christy Stevens are facing a string of charges, including arson with intent to defraud. An investigation shows that the fire was intentionally set. Well, a shooting at Spin City in West Monroe last night leaves 2 people in jail.
That's right. Things seem to have quieted down, but people in the neighborhood are still concerned. Courtney Cole joins us. Courtney, you talked to a witness. What did they say?
Well, Jeff and Jennifer, I did speak to a neighbor this afternoon who is still shaken up. She was on her porch last night and saw everything happen. She wanted to remain anonymous, but says she needed people to know that crime there is getting worse and something needs to be done.
Pop, pop, 2 in a row, and scattered.
It was a normal Tuesday night on her porch. She says even the drug deals have become routine.
I'm thinking they should have done something a long time ago, because this is not the first time they've met up in there.
She says she stayed up all night, nervous from all of the commotion.
Fearful? Heck yeah. It makes me fearful. I've never lived in a place where there was so much of this drug running going on.
She says that with guns being involved, it puts the whole neighborhood at risk.
Stray bullet, come through a window, so you're really not safe anywhere.
And what seemed like a quiet neighborhood, she says, is the exact opposite.
Since school let out, it's just been getting worse and worse.
We reached out to West Monroe Police Department to see about extra security measures near Spin City. As of right now, we are still waiting on a response. Jeff and Jennifer.
Well, thank you, Courtney. Arkansas police released video of 2 officers shooting a man who they say was stealing a vehicle last month. Now, a warning to viewers, what you see may be disturbing. Now, the officers were called to a car dealership for a burglary in progress. They fired several shots inside of the vehicle after the driver ignored orders to stop. Now, the suspect died at the hospital. His family says that he struggled with mental illness. The officers say they fired in fear of their lives, partly because the tinted windows prevented them from seeing inside of the vehicle.
Meantime, a 3-year-old severely beaten in Natchez has now been released from the hospital, but her 4-year-old sister died from blunt force trauma to her head, neck, and abdomen. That was back in June. Police say the mother's boyfriend was babysitting when he brutally beat them. The mother, Lakeisha Jones, is facing a child deprivation charge. Her boyfriend, James Anderson, is charged with felonious abuse.